Hello, everyone. My name is Ted Markowski. I'm a cybersecurity and computer networks major here at UMGC. And today we'll be talking about cyber hygiene, some of the common threats to it, and the technologies that are made to protect it. So think about the sheer volume of personal information you share online every day, and how we hope it gets from point A to point B safely and securely. Now, think about all the bad actors that are also hoping to get their hands on some of that information, themselves. So to combat this, most of us understand the principles of cyber hygiene, that we should use strong passwords and some of the other steps to keep our data safe, but what most of us don't know are some of the ways that these actors are getting to our information. So what's going on in the background, and what technology do we rely on to keep some of it secure we don't even know about? It's just happening back there. So from insights gleaned through my background as cybersecurity, along with some statistics, knowledge from cyber auditors and cybersecurity companies like Astra, Cloudflare, we can get a better understanding of what's actually going on. So now let's look into a couple of different ways that these mischievous hackers can get to our data. So let's set the scene. Right, you're at a coffee shop, got your laptop, you're enjoying your latte, and you want to get some work done. One of the most common interceptions starts right there. You might not have noticed it, but that guy right over there, he was watching you type in your password since you opened up your laptop, right? This common attack is known as shoulder surfing. Happens more often than you'd think. This can also happen at gas pumps, grocery stores, really anywhere you're entering a PIN or password. It's a simple attack, but it's been very effective. Everyone's kind of done it. Everyone's accidentally seen over someone's shoulder while they're typing in your password. You're like, man, I know it now. But these guys are trying to do it to get to your information, and it's effective. The next attack, it's a little bit sneakier. You've logged into your laptop. Now you want to access the internet. So you click on the SSID for the Wi-Fi. It says, whatever the coffee shop is. But little did you know that an attacker has planted themselves right in between. Here's you got the router, attacker's right here. So all your information's going right through them, right to the router, right back. You don't even know they're in the middle. This is called a man-in-the-middle attack. According to Astra, one of those cyber auditing firms I mentioned, accounts for 1 in 5 successful cyber attacks. And in just 2020, it was about responsible for an estimated $2 billion in losses. Right. So from here, the attacker can gather session keys, other passwords, other data that you're entering on websites, as well as establish a host of other attacks and forms of persistences from this information, keep himself on that computer. But fear not, there's some technologies that we've built into our infrastructure counteract situations like this. So we can take a quick look at really the backbone of data security nowadays, and that is encryption. You might have heard the word around, thrown around, especially with VPNs. Most people don't know how it works, though. So, quick demonstration. Imagine you have a secret message you want to send down a line of people. Right, anyone can read that message if you just throw it down the line. So you're going to encrypt it, you're going to scramble it, right? And with encryption, that's done through 2 different keys. So you have your secret key, or your public key, really, first. That's your key, so that's the one you're using to lock it down. And then you have your private key, and that only the recipient should have, so they can unlock it. So in reality, this is kind of done with large mathematical algorithms, really big prime numbers, multiplying those prime numbers together so they can't be divided. That's how we figure out the keys. But if you didn't guess it, right, encryption is also one of the main lines of protection against that aforementioned man-in-the-middle attack. And the main point being still is that only the person that you intend to read that message can read that message. So, and it's not only VPNs that encrypt information. Many applications transfer data, are now using secure protocols. One of the most important, think about your browser, uses HTTP, and now it says HTTPS. Maybe a lot of people didn't notice it, but according to Cloudflare, that S stands for secure, right? So that means that the site is using some sort of protocol, mainly one called TLS, to encrypt your data to and from the web server. So if you don't see the S, it's not encrypted. Your browser will likely warn you, say this website's unsafe. So we do have that as well. So don't completely fall in despair, as there are a whole host of technologies that are being implemented with secure coding practices as well. in an attempt to keep your data and information safe. So now we know what shoulder surfing is. Even if you actually have done it from time to time, there are definitely folks actively using this technique to get to your information. We learned that hackers may plant themselves between your connection and the router with a man-in-the-middle attack. We can breathe a sigh of relief as well, because we can make that information unreadable with encryption, and we know that at least most of our traffic to and from major websites will be encrypted. So in this era of technology, information is key, and now we understand a little bit more about what can affect our cyber hygiene. These forces are constantly at odds with each other, attackers, defenders, always trying to be one step ahead of each other, but luckily there are people across the world that are maintaining this defense, that data for regular users like us. So I hope you learned a thing or two in this presentation, and thank you for listening.